Hello students, I'm here with another video from the chapter of class 10th Science NCERT book that is How Do Organisms Reproduce. Before starting today's video, I would like to tell you all that in the last class what we have discussed. So we are discussing about the second part of this chapter, that is the sexual mode of reproduction in the various multicellular organisms. So we have discussed about all about the asexual mode of reproduction in plants. Then after that we have discussed about the sexual mode of reproduction in the flowers, okay, in the plants, in the higher plants, I must say. Now I'll discuss about the I was, yes, in the last class I was discussing about the human reproduction, I mean the sexual reproduction in human beings, okay, in the higher organisms, and that in higher animals we have to study about the human beings. Fine. So we discussed about that the human beings show they are showing the sexual mode of reproduction, and there are two types of gametes which are being produced, okay. So here we say that the reproductive parts are also known by another word called the gonads, okay. So it is known as the gonads, okay. Then after that the human beings are they become reproductively active during the age of their adolescence, that is said to be as the puberty, okay. So we discussed about this fact about puberty in the last class, okay. So puberty is a time period during adolescence when the rate of general body growth begins to slow down and the reproductive tissues become mature, okay. So on the onset of puberty, human being males, I mean human males are going to be said to be as reproductively active in between the age of 11 to 13, whereas in the human female it is said to be as the onset of puberty starts at the age of 10 to 12 years of age, okay. Now puberty is also associated with the physical, mental, as well as emotional, psychological changes in the boys and the girls when which occurs at a very slower rate, okay. So all these things which was being taught in class 8 also, it is just a revision of the same part which you have studied already, okay. So there are secondary sexual characters present. Now what do you mean by the primary and the secondary sexual characters? I must tell you here itself. So there are two types of the sexual characters. There are two types of sexual characters. One is the primary sexual character, and the secondary sexual character. So now here you could recognize that what is the meaning of the word primary sexual character and the secondary sexual character very clearly. So here it says primary sexual characters are those characters in each and every individual, whether it is a male or a female, which is present by birth. So this is present by birth, means if we are born with these characteristics. So those characteristics which are present by birth, to recognize whether it is a male or a female, that is said to be as the primary sexual character, which are only the reproductive organs, which are only the sex organs, okay, because of which we can find out that whether a particular individual is a male or a female, okay. Then now the second part is the secondary sexual characteristics. All these characteristics, all these features are going to come after a certain age. I mean it comes during it starts occurring during the age of puberty, okay. So it is gained after birth, okay, or during puberty. Fine. So this is about secondary sexual characters are present in the body of the human males and the females. If we are talking, see, we are talking about only the mammals. We are talking about the higher organisms here. So the secondary sexual characters are present in the human beings, and this starts occurring at the onset of puberty, which is very much different from person to person. The age is in between 10 to 12 years in females, okay, and from 11 to 13 years in the males. Okay, so this is what is about the age of the puberty in the human males as well as in the females. Now there are puberties associated with the physical, mental and emotional psychological changes in the age, in this age group of boys and the girls. Okay, now these are some of the characteristics which is shown especially in the males and in the females, and all these are including the secondary sexual characteristics. Okay, for instance, you can say that there is a thick hair starts growing in the new body parts such as the armpits and the genital area. Fine. A thinner hair appears on the legs and the face. Skin becomes oily and pimples starts to appear. Individual, they are becoming more conscious about their body, and they start becoming more aggressive, and they also start becoming more independent. But that doesn't mean that you are an adult. Okay, so we should all face we should all face this stage of life in a very in a very patient way. Okay, it is not like that we should not get very aggressive, we should not overreact to any situation. Since the age is growing, all the hormonal changes are happening in the body, many changes are happening in the body. It could be the physical change, it could be mental change, it could be social change also even. So the person should also understand, the even the elders also should understand that what changes these people are going, and they should not get panicked, they should not get very aggressive with the different behavior of their children. Okay, in the case of boys, beard and mustaches starts appearing, voice begins to crack, reproductive organ starts developing and starts releasing the sperm. Okay, in the case of girls, breast size increases, begin to increase, then menstruation starts. After that, after that we can see that there are the different body patterns are also there, height, weight, the shape of the body. Okay, so all these are having a certain difference in the body of the males as well as in the females of the human beings. Okay, now we will start with the next part of the chapter, that is the next topic of the chapter of this chapter, that is human human reproductive structure. So we have to study about the human reproductive structure, children. Why? Because we need to study about the different gametes which are being produced, in the different reproductive organs, and these reproductive system, these reproductive structures are also known as the gonads. Okay, so we have to study about the two reproductive structure. One is the male reproductive structure, and the second one is the female reproductive structure. So we'll start with the male reproductive structure. Okay, so what are the different parts of the male reproductive structure? We can say that the male reproductive, it consists of various parts. Okay, now I'll just tell you the parts which are present in the male reproductive structure. You can even look into the diagrams which are there in your book. Okay, so you can easily find out what structure I'm talking about and where it is being located. Fine, so we'll talk about the different parts of male reproductive structures first. So this consists of a pair of testes, which is also known as testicles, or it is also known as, in the singular it is said to be as the testis. Okay, so it is said to be as the testis. Fine. So it is a pair of a testis. Then second one is the structure of ducts. It is a system of ducts. Now what do you mean by the ducts? Ducts means the tubes, fine tubes. Okay, so these are the tubules, these are the tubes which are present just above the testis, and it is said to be as, there are different types of ducts which are present in the male reproductive system. So that there are three main ducts which are present in the male reproductive system. Okay, so the name of the first duct is the epididymis. Okay, it is the epididymis. Then the second is the vas deferens. It is the vas deferens, or it is also known as the sperm duct. Okay, it is also known as the sperm duct. I'll tell you the functions of each and every part of this. Then the third duct is, you can say that this is the urethra. Okay, fine, and we can include this in the reproductive structure also, and that is why the male reproductive part is also known as urogenital tract. Why? Because it is used, it is being means both the systems are present. It is also filtering the blood. It is also attached with the formation of the urine, as well as it is also attached with the sperm formation. Okay, so as the sperm ducts and the urinary duct both are having the same this same duct is there. Fine, now we'll talk about the third part, that is the glands which are present. Now according to this, the main organs are the testis in the human males, which are having which is the place where the male gamete is being formed, and that is the sperm. Okay, so the place where the sperms are formed, it is the testis. It is a pair of testis. Now we'll talk about the third part, that is the gland. The glands which are present in the human reproductive system, in the male reproductive system. The first is the seminal vesicles. Okay, there are a pair of seminal vesicles. There are two seminal vesicles. Okay, that is why I'm writing it vesicles. Then next is the prostate gland. Again, it is a pair of prostate gland. Again, two glands are present. So prostate gland. Then prostate gland is there. Then after that, there is a Cowper's gland. Now there are different places which are where they are being located. Fine, they are being located at the different places in this reproductive system. So the main parts of the male reproductive system are a pair of testes is there, and it has epididymis which is attached to the testis. Then after that it has a spine tube, that is also known as the sperm duct, or also it is known as the vas deferens. Okay, then after that we have different glands which supports this reproductive system, where where when the sperms are being made, all these glands are having a particular importance, because they are going to some of the one of these gland, that is the seminal vesicle, it adds the fluid in that in the sperms. Okay, so it provides the fluid medium. Then after that, prostate glands helps in the maturation of the sperm. Okay, then after that, the Cowper's glands are also responsible for a different function in the human reproductive system. Fine, so these are the accessory gland, but the primary gland which is present in the male reproductive system, which is responsible for the development of the sperm, is the testis. Okay, that is a pair of testes. Fine, now next the last part which is present here is the copulatory organ, which is also known as the penis. Okay, so these are the different organs which are present in the male reproductive system. Now we'll talk about the function of each and every part. Fine, a pair of testes is present in a bag like structure called scrotum. Okay, so there is a skin covering that is said to be as scrotum. Now, what is the function of this bag? What is the function of this skin covering over the testis? So, testis is located. It is located. It is being located here, and it contains this. It contains a cover over it. So, why this covering? Why this skin cover is there? This is present, and this is said to be as the scrotum. Fine, so the function of the scrotal sac or the scrotum is that it is going to provide firstly it is going to protect the testis, and second thing is that it provides a temperature. Particular temperature is involved, it is required for the sperm production. Okay, that is lower than 2 degrees lower than the body temperature. Okay, so sperm cannot survive in the higher temperature. That is why they require to have a particular optimum temperature which is below the normal body temperature, temperature by 2 degrees Celsius. Okay, so it provides actually it is said to be as 1 to 3 degrees, but it is in the and it could not, we cannot say, just put a range. We cannot say that yes, only the 2 degrees Celsius is required. Then the 2 degrees, it could be written over that 1 to 3 degrees difference must be there for the production of the sperm. So optimum temperature is required, which is lower than the body temperature, and that is why this scrotal sac is going to provide the particular temperature so that the sperms are not dying. Okay, because it is being produced in the testis. Fine. Now the next thing is that here the scrotal sac lies outside the abdominal cavity, and hence it is said to be as the abdominal in position. So this is because it has to maintain 1 to 3 degree lesser temperature than the body in order to produce the sperms. Fine. So this is the fact, this is the reason because of which this scrotal sac is present. Now what are the main functions of the testis? There are two main functions of the gland which is responsible for the production of the sperm, which is responsible for the production of the male gamete. That is the function of testis. So it is the plural. Okay, so the function of the testis is that it produces the sperms, to produce male gamete, and here the name of the male gamete is sperm. Okay, it produces sperms. So this is the primary function of the testis, okay, which is to produce the sperms. Now second thing is that it produces male hormone, to produce male hormone, which is also known as testosterone. Which is also known as testosterone, and which is responsible for the production of the sperms as well as the secondary sexual characteristics in male. It helps in the maintenance of secondary characters. Okay, it also helps in the, this testosterone is responsible for the sperm production also, as well as it maintains the maleness in the males. Okay, it helps in the production, it helps in the maintenance of the secondary sexual characteristics of the males. Okay, now attached to each of the testes a highly coiled tube which is known as epididymis. I just now told you that there is a tube like structure which is present just above this testis, which is said to be as the epididymis. Okay, so this is said to be as the epididymis. Fine. Now from here only a tube like structure is being present, and this is said to be as the sperm duct. Okay, this is also known as vas, which is also known as vas deferens. Now here the sperms are being produced in the testis, and it is going to be stored here in the epididymis, which is going to get matured now. So the young sperms are present over here, and then it goes back in the it with the help of the different glands which are present. I just not discussed, I took the name of different glands. So here prostate glands, the seminal vesicles, okay, Cowper's glands are there. So these glands are responsible for the maturation of the sperms. They help, they add the they add certain nutrients in the environment of these sperms so that they become viable. Okay, they become active, they become they become mature. Okay, so now what happens, each epididymis leads to a sperm duct. As I just now told you, this is known as the epididymis, where the sperms are being stored temporarily. Okay, after that it is going to pass into this sperm duct, which is said to be as the vas deferens. Okay, now each vas deferens lies up and enters in the abdominal cavity, which unites with the duct coming from the urinary bladder in the form of the common duct called urethra. Now here this sperm duct is going to be attached with the urinary bladder duct, that is said to be as urethra, which passes through a penis in the opening out, which opens outside. Okay, along the way of the duct, the three glands also appear to pour their secretions in the vas into the vas deferens. Now here in this vas deferens, what happens? When the sperms are moving, along with the movement, the various nutrients, the various secretions are present. The various secretions are present in the way, and they are being added up into the sperm so that they become mature. Okay, now what is the function of vas deferens, children? The function of vas deferens is meant that it is going to pass the sperm from one place to another place. Okay, now here it is stored in the epididymis, and from epididymis, whenever it is rising, whenever it is moving through this sperm duct, which is also known as the vas deferens. Okay, now the next is the function of the different glands, which helps in the production of the various secretions. Okay, now we saw about the functions of the male reproductive structure, that is the testis. Now I'll tell you about the functions of the glands. So we'll talk about the glands in total, because there are three glands present. So the gland, which they have different secretions, they produce different secretions, and these secretions provide nutrition. They produce secretions. Now, what is the meaning of the word secretion? Secretion means it is a liquid, it is a solution, it is a nutrient which is being provided to the sperm so that they become mature. Fine. Now, the next thing is that they produce the different secretions which provides as nutrition. It adds nutrition to the developing sperms or the male gametes. Okay, and then they provide a medium of locomotion. Medium of locomotion to the sperms. Okay, because they need to travel a long distance, that is why they provide a medium for locomotion, because they provide fluidity. Why they are providing fluidity? Because they are producing the secretions, and in total this secretion is said to be as the secretions of these three glands along with the sperm is known as the semen. Okay, it produces semen. Now what is present in the semen? Semen contains the secretions from these glands which are coming, which contains, actually it contains sugars, that is the sucrose, the fructose are present in this semen. And why it is present? It provides nutrition to the developing sperm. Okay, now along with the sperm, all these secretions total is said to be as the semen. Fine. Now it contains about 250 to 280 millions of sperm in one ejaculation. Okay, which contains the liquid or the fluid part, that is said to be as this semen. Okay, now here only I'll tell you about the structure of. So this was about the male reproductive structure. Now I'll just talk about the structure of male gamete. Fine. So what is the structure of male gamete? What is the structure of male gamete? So here it is also known as sperm. It contains okay, so this is the structure of the sperm or the male gamete. Fine. Now this is the head. It contains three parts. Okay, it contains three parts. So what are the three parts? The first part is the head. Okay, then the second part is the middle piece, and this third part is said to be as the tail. Okay, I'll just write down like this. This is said to be as tail. Fine. We could now label the parts here. So this is the head, which contains, the tip of this head is said to be as acrosome. Okay, it contains nucleus, which has DNA, and this male gamete is what is responsible for the development of a new individual, that is this nucleus which contains DNA. Okay, so this DNA is going to fuse with the female nucleus. Okay, now the next part is this middle piece. This contains only mitochondria. Nothing else is there, only the mitochondria is present. Now what is this mitochondria? Mitochondria is the cell organelle which is known as the storehouse, which is known as the power supply of the cell. That is why it is present over here, because it needs to give the energy, it needs to give the ATPs to this movement of the, it provides movement of the sperm. Okay, it also, this head and the middle piece is joined with another part which is said to be as neck. Okay, so this is joined with the part which is called neck. Head and the this middle piece of the structure, I mean this sperm is joined with the structure called neck. Okay, after that the next is the last part is the last part of this sperm is the tail, which helps in the mobility, which helps in the motility of this sperm. Okay, which helps in the movement of the sperm. Fine, so this is about the male gamete, which is known to be as the difference could be that it is having a tail, it contains the head, it contains neck, it contains mitochondria and this middle piece, and also has a long tail which is responsible for the movement of the sperm. And how much big it is about it is approximately 50 millimeters. Okay, it is about 50 millimeters in its length. Fine, so it is 50 millimeters in length, but it is much more smaller than that of the human egg. Okay, that human ova or the human egg is ovum, it is larger in its size. As you could see, after monocyte, human egg is only the largest cell which is present in the body of the human beings. Okay, so this is about the structure of the male reproductive organ as well as the male gamete. Fine, so we have discussed about the male reproductive system in total. The next is, what is the function of the urethra? It is a common passage for semen as well as the urine to outside the body. Okay, then last part is the next part of the next part of the male reproductive system is the penis, which is the organ which is used to introduce the semen in the female's body, and it is also richly supplied with the blood vessel. It also helps in the passage of the urine. Fine. The next part which we need to study here is now the next system, which is the female reproductive system. Female reproductive system. Fine. Now we'll study about this female reproductive system, which contains several parts. What are the parts of this female reproductive system? The first part of the female reproductive system is a pair of ovaries. A pair of Now it contains two ovaries. Okay, one pair means it contains two in number. The ovaries are two in number. The second part of the female reproductive system is the fallopian tubes. Okay, it is also known as the fallopian tube. Fine, which is also known as oviducts. Oviducts. Even in the smaller organisms like birds and other organisms, other females, where except the mammals, it is said to be as oviducts. Whereas in the human female, it is said to be as a fallopian tube. Okay, so it is nothing but it is just the example. It is just the other name of the oviducts. It is again two in number. Fine. It contains one pair of. It also contains a pair of fallopian tubes because both sides the ovaries are present, both sides the ovaries are there. So it contains, so here it contains the cilias, the fimbrias are present, and here it contains the ovary. Okay, so in this part it contains a pair of ovaries. Fine. Now the next part which we were studying is this one. This is said to be as the oviducts. Fine. Now the third part is the uterus. It is said to be as the uterus. Fine. It is a bag-like structure which helps in the it provides the home for developing fetus. Okay, it is a home for developing fetus. It is also known as womb. Okay. The last part is the next part is said to be as the vagina, and it is also known as the birth canal. Fine. The last part of the female reproductive system is the birth canal, which is also responsible for the passage of the developing fetus. Okay, once it is being developed completely, it has to come out in the world, then it is being coming out through this birth canal. Fine. Now we'll discuss more about the functions of the ovary and also about the female reproductive system. Now each ovary is almond shaped, present inside the abdominal cavity at the time of the birth of each girl. Okay, and it also contains thousands of follicles. It also contains thousands of immature eggs. Okay, it contains the system which contains, why? So these ovaries are having already, they contains the egg. So where is the pair, what is the function of this ovary? The function of the ovary, there are two functions. As there were two functions of the testis, similarly the ovaries are also having two functions. The first one is to produce the ova, okay, or ovum. Fine, both are same. So ova is the singular, ovum is the plural. Okay, no, plural means it is ovum, and here it is ova is the it is a plural part. Okay, so this produces ovum. Okay, next is it also produces the hormones, which is the female hormone is estrogen and also the progesterone. So there are the functions of the function of ovary is to produce the estrogen as well as the progesterone. Fine. So one pair of ovary consists of these. They have to participate, or they have to do two things for a female, that is to produce the ovum, to produce the egg cells, to produce the female gamete, and also to produce the two hormones, that is one is estrogen, other one is the progesterone. Fine. So these are the two functions which maintains the body of a female, because they produce two things, that is the estrogen and progesterone, two hormones, which is the estrogen and the progesterone. Fine. And each and every hormone has a different, they have a different role in the body of a female. Fine. Now, the next part is that the two fallopian tubes. Now, what is the function of at the okay, yes, so here it is said that the ovary contains millions of eggs inside it. There are so many thousands of eggs, not the millions, but some thousands of eggs are produced, which are already present in the ovary of a girl child. But after the maturity, once the puberty stage starts, the adolescence age comes, these eggs starts maturing. Okay, one by one, once in a month. Okay, now next thing is that the ova starts maturing only from the time of puberty. Please remember, it is already present in the ovary, but it is not mature, it is immature, but it is going to be matured after the age of puberty. During the age of puberty, only one ovum is produced and released from these ovaries once in a month. Okay, so now each ovary is going to release one egg per month. One time this ovary is going to release one egg, the next time the other ovary is going to release one egg. Fine, only one egg per month. Fine. Now next thing is that the release of the ovum from the ovary and the abdominal cavity is known as ovulation. So what is this ovulation word? Ovulation means it is a process of releasing of ovary, process of releasing of eggs from the ovary. So from the ovaries, one egg is being released. So what is the function of this oviduct now? Now the oviducts are just the present just above the ovary, because these are the fine tubes which have to just gather the egg which is coming out from the ovary every month. So they have a finger like projection over the ovary, and what happens, as soon as the egg which is coming out in the cavity here in the space, these fimbriae, these hair like structure which is present, these finger like structures which are present over here, they are going to grab this ovum which is coming out. Either otherwise it is going to be released anywhere in the body. Fine. So what happens again, this ovum is released inside this oviduct. So this is a place where this egg rests. I mean, the egg is present here for just for 24 hours. Fine. Now what happens then next, the next part is the uterus. What is the function of uterus? Then after fertilization, once the fertilization occurs, the fetus is implanted in the walls of uterus, here in the walls of uterus. So this is what is the function of the uterus, where the embryo is going to be formed and it is going to be developed further. Fine. So this was about some of the parts of the female reproductive system. Children, I'll discuss more about these parts in the next class, where I'll tell you about more about the female reproductive system in detail. So we have discussed about the male reproductive system and the female reproductive system today. So male reproductive system is completed. Now we'll discuss about this female reproductive system, more about all these things and the parts and the functions in the next class. Okay, so that's all for today's video. I will meet you all in the next video with the next topics to be discussed.